both programs use 2 guys, so it'll be interesting to see how they match up.
Zach Hayashi for Navy and Joe Hobart for Johns Hopkins to start things off. And Navy gets the opening possession of the game here today. Into Homewood, where in the past, as they shoot, the save made by Jelinas.
Great save by Orange Jelinas.
Where in the past they had struggled here, but they've actually gotten the win back. Coming in at 4-2 on the season. Here's Jimmy Ayers. Getting free, Chavette fires and he scores, and the Blue Jays are on the board first.
Yeah, great play by Johns Hopkins. Honestly,
Chavette, let's go back to it.
Yeah, great play. Little 2-man action on the front side and a 2-man game on the back side. The seal and the Navy defense didn't communicate on it, and Chavette got an open look. Win the face-off and score again. And that's what I talked about in the open in terms of the middle of the field. If they can ride the ball back, Navy, which they have an aggressive ride at times, and they can win face-offs, then that's going to be a huge advantage.
Nice shot on the score here from Aiden DeRocco, and he gets it right back for the midshipman to tie us at 1.
Yeah, great play, good offense, you know, and he stepped in. He's playing on the first midfield line now for the first time, and he's really making it pay off. Yeah, good offense, and again, this is their middle of the field play. You know, Flaherty's a big downhill midi, draws a slide, throws it back to DeRocco, who drills it.
Good space there that time.
Yeah, great offense. You know, the other guys kind of got out of the midfield line. Sometimes they'll go with a 10-man. It'll be interesting to see how that unfolds throughout the game.
Previous game for the Blue Jays, coming off a 12-8 loss against Syracuse.
Yep. Yeah, the teams ride well. Navy's more aggressive in their ride, and Johns Hopkins is more kind of dropped back, but very effective.
Look out, middle of the field there was Collison, got a wide open shot, doesn't go, and here come the midshipmen.
Don't need to. A little bend, but don't break. Getting through the pick.
Haley, shot clock down to 7. He goes down into the stick of Jelinas. And another great team defensive effort by the Blue Jays.
No doubt. And this is going to be a very, very interesting matchup to watch. Brown, he's a very good dodger and setup man. And so his ability to get some penetration on Brown is going to really determine his success today, I think.
You get a moving pick there.
Yeah, moving pick. And that's part of the risk here recently, that in the Big Ten championship game last year, there were 66 picks set by one of the teams. That's
wow.
That's a lot of picks.
Here's Collini, shoots, and the save from Jelinas. Not as much on that one as I'm sure he would have wanted.
No doubt. Very good defense again, and we talk about...
Under 4 minutes to play here in the first. We're still tied at 1.
Good
Navy,
offense.
another save, Jelinas. Out in front and on the shot clock, but they backed it out quickly.
Yeah, you know, I think that started with about 30 seconds on the shot clock, the hung situation. They stayed there for maybe 10 seconds, and at that point, you just have to get going with your offense.
Chavette shoots, save made by Daly, and he cleans it up.
Yeah, great.
Shot clock's inside 20 here for the midshipmen on this possession, and that went off the post as well, that time by Jack Flaherty.
Yep. Looks like he might have hit his leg.
Excellent job here by the Blue Jays. Tyler able to get that one.
Yeah, nice ground ball play.
Gets it back, and this time the shot from Eiler, and it's good.
Yeah, great play there by Johns Hopkins, and give Quentin Kilrain credit for, you know, following the ball down the field and being a part of the offense.
So Charlie Eiler comes back with the goal. First it was Navy had an opportunity. It went off the post, and the Blue Jays took advantage of it. They now lead 2-1.
He's going in the right direction.
Good to be with you here today on this Saturday, middle of March. Mike Corey, former Penn head coach Mike Murphy with you here today from Baltimore. And you know, we talked about earlier the recruiting a little bit different these days, right? I mean, it's a whole different world. I think in terms of talent spread out more across the country.
No doubt, no doubt. And I think the alumni bases from these places. All right, on the short stick, see what he can do here.
Ayers bounces it in. And Jimmy Ayers scores to make it 3-1 Blue Jays.
Yeah, very nice play, good offense. Initiated on the lefty side and moved it twice. Found their attack with the short stick on him and went right to the cage. I think Navy needs to identify that matchup and maybe slide a little quicker. just a nice move. Puts his foot in the ground, gets back underneath a little bit, and that's basically, if he opens his shoulders like that, you need to...
Nick Turn here for Goers.
Gregorek got a little bit of leg. Yep.
And he shoots and he scores. So
yeah.
Alec Gregorek for the goal for Navy.
Yeah, one of the important fundamental pieces of defense is the approach. And Kilrain's approach wasn't great on that one. Yeah, you see here Gregorek attacks his upfield foot and then comes back to his left hand. Got him off balance and hit a nice shot. Very hard to slide off of that type of play. Recruited there, but not certain he wants to serve his country, then, you know, he's probably got to look at some other options. Now Goers on a short stick. This is a good matchup for Navy and a good slide.
And here comes some help. Ball is loose. Navy picks it back up. Gregorek's got it again. Being hounded by Brown behind the cage.
Oh.
Up top, look out on the shot that time was Landolfi. And we got a stoppage here. I think we might have had a challenge. Yeah. Is that on the shot clock in terms of get reset to 60? Now they got it down to 4. Yeah, let's see what the case is here.
Yeah, I think so. I see Pete Milliman with his flag out and he's talking to the refs.
Steve, but then Coach Millman said, I don't think so. And it should be down to 4. So they have it at 4 right now. Let's see.
Wow, hard to tell.
Yeah. What happened was that was the case. Clock should have been at 4. But then after they inbounded it, or got it back into play, I should say, they reset it and they said, hold on a minute. So it is 4 seconds on the shot clock here for Navy. So it's Goers.
He's just going to the goal.
It's hit, no call. Blue Jays have it.
And you see Navy already had their defensive personnel on the field. Yep. So another pick. Almost a moving pick.
Nothing there. Sean Krogan throws it right into the stick of the Navy defenseman, Jackson Roberts.
Yeah, that's, I think, part of Coach Milliman's concern about his second midfield line. He needs somebody to be productive there. Higher assist ratios in the country, so you want to make them beat you off the dribble a little bit.
Here's a shot and a score, and it's Collison that puts it in.
Yeah, Collison on a short stick to his left hand. I don't think you can slide too early to that, although he's a good feeder, so you can't just start running out to him at the top of the box.
So Matt Collison, the senior, his 14th of the season, has now made it 4-2 Blue Jays here at Homewood.
Their offense.
Rawson behind the net. Up top again, Collison gets a step. Yep, gets free, and he shoots and scores again.
Yep.
You called it, Coach. 2 in a row for Matt Collison.
Yeah, you let him get to the middle of the field, he's going to have a field day. Just good offense by Johns Hopkins. Skip pass, bad approach, gets right to the middle of the field, and that's a dunk for that kid. He's a Canadian kid. The Canadians are used to playing on smaller goals, so this is a good setup.
Goers, cross field. Hurley, good extra pass. Shot, score!
Wow.
Garza, you mentioned him, the recipient after 4 passes, and he scores it for Navy. That looked good.
Yeah, great. Yeah, great play. They got the mismatch on Goers with his short stick. He draws a slide, throws a skip pass, and then they're patient and they get the ball to the right guy. That's excellent, excellent offense. And one of the things that makes him such a good shooter is how quick.
They got it over to Haley now. Haley shoots, he scores.
Yep.
Probably only a matter of time. Mac Haley, the captain for Navy, has cut it to a 1-goal game.
And we talked before about the approach, and you hear them yelling lefty, so they're kind of daring him to go to his right hand. He takes it and sticks the shot. Big time play by Mac Haley. Got him rotating. Good defense.
Gregoric shoots, he scores, and just like that, out of the timeout, wasting.
And this shot is really the mirror image of the Mac Haley shot previously. He's a right-handed kid. They take away his right hand, so he takes it to his left, shoots a great overhand shot to the offside pipe against a right-handed goalie. Good effort, shoots a backhanded shot. Sometimes they get better angle that way.
Shot clock at 4, and Rawson had to put it on. It's saved by Daly. And now Navy, opportunity to go.
And the number of turnovers between two teams in a half of lacrosse, that is high level.
And it's going to draw our first flag of the afternoon. The hit from Reese to Chico that time for Johns Hopkins.
Response to this.
White, 18, push, technical foul, reset 60.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. You know, hit him from behind. Maybe a tough break for Hopkins.
First extra man opportunity of the day for either team here. 38% on the season, Navy. 6th in their conference. Oh, right down low. Score it for Aiden DeRocco. And Navy has...
Let's go, Hobart! Yeah, Joe! Yeah, Hobart!
What a pass.
Great look, great play again. You know, a little formation change. He came around from behind as they were moving guys into the halftime, tied up.
High alert deep in the corner. 20 seconds to go for the Blue Jays. Looking outside here for English. Shot, score, it's Collison.
Wow.
And just so we talked about, tie game at 6 with 6 seconds left before halftime.
That is an enormous play. Great look by Johns Hopkins, well executed. For Navy, you, again, don't want to lose track of number 16 in the middle of the field.
What happened here, Coach?
They slid. I'm not sure they needed to slide, and they start rotating, and then they lose track of Collison, and that's a goal. You know, just how quickly he releases the ball. He's just too good.
Offsides.
Yeah, remarkably clean game, and that was a substitution error here on the bench, so it wasn't even a stick-work mistake.
Got it. Okay. So instead of a 7-5 game, it was 6-5, and then Blue Jays came back with that Collison goal, the third one you saw, with 6.9 seconds to go in the half.
Yeah, it really changed the feel of the first half, the way they responded there.
And now here's Collison for the Blue Jays, and we are underway in this second half. Remember, we talked about the success that Navy has had here in Baltimore. The last 2 times they've been here, they've won. In 24 and 22, each by a goal. Prior to that, the last time they had won in Baltimore was 1969. So they want to keep it going, looking for 3 in a row here at Homewood.
Yeah, that would be quite a feat for Navy, and they're in a good position to do that right now.
Brooks English has it. And a shot here for Chavette, and it's good.
Wow, great play by Johns Hopkins. You know, English coming across the middle, surveying the field, and Navy left Chavette wide open in his office on the left corner. That was a big time play, great shot. He's gonna score that ball 9 times out of 10. Draws a little bit of a slide. The 2 slide is late, and it's just that's a layup dunk for Chavette. He's kind of squeezed through it and held on to the ball. Big time play.
Randolfi's pass, and it was Haley that could not grab it. Blue Jays for the moment. Now here comes some flags. There's going to be a penalty here on Navy.
Yeah, I don't think they could call that one undeceived.
Push, 30 seconds, reset 8.
Yeah, that's a good call by the refs. He hit him in the back up here. Yeah, I think they'll look to get Chauvet a shot, him or Collison.
First man up opportunity for the Blue Jays today. Rawson's been good on man up this year, 51. Down on the right side of the net right now. Eiler in the middle. Oh, a save from Daly.
Wow.
On the shot that time from Collison.
From the same spot, he's catching the ball dead center, wide open in the middle of the field from 10 yards.
He helped from the unfortunate goal that they scored at the end of the half, because that was like a one-timer once again from Collison.
Yeah.
So Daly's saying, okay, if that happens here again. But this time they score it. And Eiler puts it through. Charlie Eiler.
Yeah, Eiler and Ayers both have done that. Eiler's got a short stick, goes to the goal, does a great job, comes underneath him. Slide was late, so big time play.
It's a great spin move there from Eiler.
Yeah, great move. A little bit like what Jimmy Ayers did in the first quarter.
Yep.
You know,
Good kill rain there, 6 for the Blue Jays in white on D.
Goers with a short stick again. Stepped in the crease. Huh?
Flag flies as well.
Of the pick was trying to move the picker.
Second man up opportunity for Navy here today. They scored on the first one. That was with Duraco. That gave them 4 in a row to take a 6-5 lead. Now the shot was top Gregoric, and now saved by Jelinas.
Great save by Jelinas. Shot was a little deep. I feel like they could have gotten the ball back to Pop.
For Navy.
Got him rotating. Good defense by Johns Hopkins.
Garza lost his stick and the ball. Blue Jays the other way.
Transition opportunity. Great approach on the ball. Put the ball on the ground and was off and running.
All right, so here's Krogan now. Sean Krogan for Johns Hopkins. Gets by the defender, looks, shoots, and scores it. Second goal of the season in just his 5th game for Sean Krogan.
Great play by Krogan. They were subbing, so it's 5-on-5. Gets underneath, no slide, and sticks the shot.
Comes the slide, and the change up now with Kilrain on him. Yep, back into the stick of Jelinas and Cage. Nice outlet.
Yeah, Navy got what they want
Right now, the way that Hopkins has the momentum.
No doubt. You know, got the ball. They got their first midfield line in here. Navy needs to play some defense to keep this thing from getting away from them.
Rawson gets in front of the defender. Shot saved by Daly.
Great save. Stick broke. You know, unfortunate situation. Great play by Daly.
Eight saves for Daly so far in this game here today. 7 for Jelinas, and right back the other way, the midshipman, and scored with Jack Ponzio. A big-time goal that they needed to try to close this gap.
Great individual play here by Jack Ponzio. Gets the ball in the clear, takes it himself. A lot of open space, runs right down the middle to a strong hand, puts the ball offside low. Great opportunity he created for himself and great finish.
And they do it in transition.
Shot.
Now can they clamp down defensively here? 2-goal game once again. Chauvet over to James Roast.
Yeah, I think if they can just keep their matchups.
Roast scores. Well, he puts it into that pretty quick and gets that goal right back for the Blue Jays.
And when we spoke to Pete Millman earlier this week, you know, he was talking about how he needed to get some production from people outside of his first midfield line, and just great play by Roast. He goes to the middle of the field against a long stick, right? Gets downhill like we talked about and shoots a great shot on Daly.
Collison.
They're moving the ball really well.
Yep, Chavette. He shoots and scores. Hunter Chavette. Third for him today. And the Blue Jays tack on another. It's their largest lead of the day at 11-7.
Yeah, we talked about Hunter Chavette in the open. You know, an elite shooter, one of the best shooters out there. He gets across to the middle of the field to his left hand and just lets it fly against a short stick. That's hard to defend.
Three goals on 7 shots for Chavette. That's 2 goals in 58 seconds now.
Yeah, Chavette really responded. You know, did not play well last week, and
Right.
now he's being assertive. Give him credit. You know, he's attacking the goal and shooting the ball well.
Well, Navy responds. And that's happened a bunch here today, especially in these situations where the Blue Jays have got some momentum, and A.J. Marsh with just his second goal of the season, and the defenseman puts it in for Navy. They needed that.
Yeah, great just awareness. He steps in, nobody playing him. Yeah, and he's a very good offensive player. He shoots the ball well. He distributes the ball. He's good off the ground. He's an elite player, and I would say that if somebody's going to help them, you know, start a run, it was going to be.
And Roast just had that goal a few moments ago. 30 in white, has it again. Chavette unleashes Daly on the save.
Wow.
And rebound picked up by his teammate Gallagher.
Incredible. He was limping. They went into a zone. Daly makes a save, and you know, they get a stop out of it.
Seems to be okay now, and he takes a huge hit. Gallagher goes down, the ball is loose, and the Blue Jays come up with it. And Luke Martin has it. Wow.
Another great play by Martin in the middle of the field there. He's the one that took the ball away and that led to the goal.
Team.
No doubt, it's a juice play, momentum play. You know, they have an opportunity to squeeze the defenseman on the side with a double team. Applied it perfectly. That was just a great job taking advantage of that opportunity.
And so now errors here for English, and they work it back up top. Collison.
Yeah, this is important. There's a minute 10 left in the quarter and 37 seconds in the shot clock, so they're going to want to kind of let this go a little bit.
And a push to the back there too, and Eiler says, who cares, I'll score anyway. And Charlie Eiler,
wow,
that's his first hat trick of the season, Coach.
Yeah, great individual effort here by Eiler. Getting pressured, he just runs through the defenseman's top hand, leaps forward, backhands it from low to high. That's a big-time play. You know, he's having a heck of a game, and he's part of the reason they're winning right now.
Thought it might have been a flag there.
We talked about them being a midfield-oriented team. Their attack, is really responding and taking the lead here.
They do. They have 2 players with hat tricks today with Chavette and Eiler, and then Collison has had a game that they would expect from him in the midfield. And it's been a very good team. And that trail check here. Look out. Watch this.
Great effort. Great effort getting back and taking a piece of that shot. They obviously know Marsh is a scoring.
Cross field here, Landolfi. Doesn't have the angle. Clock winding down, 10 seconds. Landolfi being hounded. Bounces it over the cage. It's loose.
Oh,
recovered by Haley. What a heck of a play there. Still loose. Blue Jays have it. That's the end of the quarter.
Great defense. Running through the midfield, dodging on attack, beating close defensemen. They're winning matchups and winning the game.
John McKee taking this face-off here for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, the Dickinson transfer.
They've seen McKee, or Navy has scored a few times after direct face-off wins here today. We'll get that number for you in just a moment. Now, turnaround shot here by Gregoric. Doesn't go. Save by Jelinas.
Yeah, a little bit of a force there.
Chavette, transition, feeds it up. Shot and a score for the Blue Jays, and Eiler again. Tall Charlie Eiler here today right now for the Blue Jays, Coach.
Yeah, he's having an unbelievable day. You know, I would imagine one of the best days he's had in his time here at Hopkins. Great opportunistic play there for Johns Hopkins in the clear. They recover the ball, threw the ball down the field to Chavette, who finds him on the backside. The other thing I think we're noticing is, you know, we talked about the middle of the field and Navy's physicality.
Well, Gregorek comes back and gets one for Navy to cut it to 4. Great hat trick for Gregorek, Coach.
Yeah, just great individual effort here. You know, dodges to his left hand, rolls back to the middle of the field in a strong hand, and shoots a great shot, overhand, low on the run. His teammates didn't get out of his way. Good pick.
Gregorek, yeah, and the pick. He gets sandwiched, and
now they're 10-manning. They weren't doing it early on. Now they've gone to it.
here's Marsh.
He's going to the
knocked
goal.
down early on. Yeah, now he gives it up. Here's Haley, shoots and scores. Mac Haley. Haley with his second today.
Big time play there by Gallagher to Marsh to Haley, the guys you expect to make a play when they need it. Dolphy.
There he is. Trying to go back to Haley, bouncer.
Second straight time,
yeah.
They've turned the ball over on a rollback because they're not fundamentally. Gaby's back into man-to-man, doing a good job so far. Oh, great individual effort.
It's going to be Daly. He's going to scoop it up here in cage. Out to go, would cut it to 2. Haley's got 2 goals today.
Yep, got goers over the top.
Stutter step shoots, save made there by Jelinas.
Yeah, good take, not a great shot. You know, did a good job beating his man. Shot the ball into Jelinas' stick.
Now on the ride here.
They're in a 10-man. Yep, got the ball back again. This is what happened to Johns Hopkins against Syracuse last week.
Another good play here to try to flip it over.
Great effort in the ride. Great effort. They lined up.
Time.
Yep, and Johns Hop. They're not desperate. They don't need to be desperate yet.
Here's Goers. Another save made here from Jelinas.
He's had a great game.
A couple of those. Shot clock, 2:44 to go in the game. Collison, and that's going to make it even harder. He's got 4 goals today, and the Blue Jays.
Just an unbelievable individual effort. That is a grown man running down the middle of the field, shooting the ball. That was a big-time play and might have put the game.
He's had it. They had 5 failed clears in the last game of that loss to Syracuse, right? I mean, essentially, you know, you talked about the 10-man ride for Navy. That forced some turnovers. They were 17 for 17 prior to, you know, the 4 failed clears here in the fourth. So, yeah, you got to clean that up, but it's understandable when you're getting a 10-man ride on you. But
right, Navy's desperate. They're not really trying to score off the clear, so their patience is, you know, hurting them in the clear. But they can fix that problem this week in practice.
Yeah, but building up enough of a lead like that, didn't quite hurt you as bad, and it's a 4-goal advantage now. They're going to go on to win this one here. Quick take on Nate.
Get into the league tournament, so they have to decide who they're going to beat.
But the Blue Jays today, they get it done. 14-10, and Johns Hopkins is going to improve to 5-2 on the season. What about what you saw from the home team here today?
Terrific performance. You know.